Hey guys, it's Travis at Rob Family Farm again. It's Thursday, and just doing a little work. It's pretty nasty out. You can probably hear the thunder in the background. Maybe it's rainy, but I did a split on that big hive that y'all have seen. I did a walkaway split on it Sunday in between church, and it's this one right there. You can barely see it, but then I moved it to that dead out hive that's right there. The big hive was over there, but I moved it to this dead out from the winter. Moved half of it there. This is my first time doing splits, so I don't know how it's going to work. Both boxes have bees flying out of them. I don't know which one the queen was in, but I did separate everything pretty evenly, and it had 3 boxes on it. 2 deeps and a super, and everything was pretty full. So I separated all the stuff, left the super on the main hive, put the queen excluder on it, and I was going to go in today, there's some thunder, to see which box she was in because I couldn't find her. I went through it forever and I could not find her, but there was eggs, cat brood, larva, everything. So I know she was in there, I just couldn't find her. I didn't want to mess around anymore. It was getting later in the day, Sunday. I had to get ready to go back to church. So I just separated them, put the queen excluder between the 1 deep and the honey super. And I was going to go give it 4 days. That way I knew any eggs that were there would be capped in wherever she's at, or wherever she's not at, and wherever she was at, I'd see some fresh eggs. But weather not permitting, I'm not going in there today. I may do it tomorrow if it clears up and it's warm. That way I can figure out where she's at, and then I'll know at least. She was supposed to be marked, but I could not find her, so I don't know what happened. So today, I'll pan around and let y'all see. It's nasty, wet. So today we are going to be, I got some wax here. I had to spin that camera around. I got some wax here. I rendered this pot right here was about half full, and it's dirty, nasty stuff. It's that. The stuff that I'm cleaning out of some old frames. That stuff that I bought, all those hives and stuff, I got up there, right up there on that pallet, covered in a tarp. All them old hive bodies I've been cleaning up, but as you can see, it's pretty nasty wax. So I had this about 3/4 full, and I rendered it one time and didn't get a whole lot of wax out of it. So what I've done is everything I dipped out that day, this is my first time rendering wax, everything I dipped out that day I had put in this bucket right here. So now I put it back in here, and I'm going to render it one time. And normally most people that I see, they only render, they do it one time and they throw all this away, and then whatever wax come out of it, they'll clean it again. But I didn't get it very much out of this, so I wanted to try this again. If I don't get much out of this second rendering of the trash off the first one, then I won't do it again. I'll just keep the wax that I got. But we're not maybe a quarter way through all them hive bodies and cleaning all that stuff up, so I'll have plenty more to do. So I've got this warming up now. I got it about 150, 175 right now. And the stuff I threw in that bucket, that's a chunk right there that you can see. The stuff I got out of that bucket, I've dumped back in here, and I'm just letting it melt. And I'm going to heat it up to about 175, try to hold it there for a while and let this chunk melt down real good. And then I'll let it cool down and just see how much comes out of it. As you can see, it's nasty. I may not get a whole lot out of it, but it gives me something to practice on, so when we start getting some decent wax comb and stuff, it gives me something I'll know what I'm doing by then. I won't mess nothing up. But that's what I'm doing right now, and while this is melting down and everything, I got the wife's car over there doing an oil change under the canopy. Just stuff to do while it's raining, I can't actually do anything, any fencing or getting the barn pad prepped or cleaned up, or can't pour that section of concrete that didn't get poured. I can't do none of that while it's raining. And also up here, we're going to be cutting this. There's the hog pen. So on this side of it, about 20 or 30 feet, I got to cut that with a lawnmower, get it down. You see how much it's grown over what we cut. Get it cut down real low and scalped, and then we will go get the tiller and get that tilled. I want to do that today, but I'm not going to get out there in the rain. There ain't no sense in it. So we're going to do that this week, get that tilled up, and get all those plants planted. I'll show y'all. Let me turn this down a little bit. It's all the way down. It's 200, so I'm gonna let it turn off. But we planted the seeds for everything that we're growing in the garden. We planted all of it. This is about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I guess. And you could see it is coming up like crazy in these trays. So then I think yesterday that 1, 2, 3, 4, she's got like jalapenos, cabbage, onions, tomatoes, and those that haven't started coming up. And the ones that came up, we've got beans and corn and carrots, okra, cucumbers, all that stuff. I don't know what else she's got, but that's what she's got there. And then we donated some money to the Harbor. I think it's the Harbor Foundation or whatever. The tree, whatever it is, they sent us a little thing, and it was like $20. I was like, let's try it, whatever. So they sent us, I think there's, in this pot here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 10 or 11 trees, and then 2 crepe myrtles right there. All these are flowering trees, mainly for the bees. But then at Tractor Supply a couple weeks ago, I bought these 2 Honeycrisp apple trees, and they have started budding. We got them in here right now. We will get one more frost. There's got to be a blackberry winter, so I don't want any of these plants out to die just yet. But everything in the yard's blooming. Lots of colors around here. So everything's starting to come up. But like I said, we've got to have one more little cold snap for blackberry winter. And then all of this will go out and go in the ground. But today I'm going to change the oil in the wife's car, and then I will pull my car in here. I'm going to rotate her tires too, and then I'll pull my car in here and rotate or change my oil and get that done at least while I can't get out in the yard and do anything. Alright everyone, it is Friday, 2 days till Easter, 2 days till we celebrate the resurrection of the Lord. And as you can see, I have a brisket. We are prepping. I'm going to rub it today, put it in the refrigerator, and then in the morning I will throw it on the big green egg and smoke it all day. We are going to, after sunrise service at church Sunday, we're coming back here, and all the family's coming to the farm around 2 o'clock to celebrate, eat dinner together, have a good fellowship, and just have a good time. But it's Friday, like I said. I'm going to get this in the refrigerator, then we're going to go out and probably burn some brush piles, get some wood split, get the front yard cleared out. I got a little bit of pile of leaves that I got left to pick up, and we've got a big old one of them party tents. We're going to set up, put the tables and chairs and everything out under that tomorrow evening for the dinner Sunday. But as you can see right now, I got the brisket, and anybody who's done any smoking probably knows who Malcolm Reed is. So I'm using his rub, the Killer Hogs, the barbecue rub. It's really good flavor. And I'm putting a little bit of this Gator Hammock Cooter rub. It's got a kick to it, so I'm only putting a little bit of it on there just to give it a little kick. Just start with, we're just gonna, I rub mustard on it, and I don't like mustard, but when I first started smoking probably 2-3 years ago, that's how a lot of people do it. Malcolm and people like that would use mustard, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna taste like not any good because I don't like mustard, like I said. But the mustard flavor does not cook into the meat. All it does is let this rub adhere to the meat. But there's not. I've used Wicked Q, I've used Malcolm's rub. I haven't really found a rub I don't like the flavor. They all have a little bit of different flavor, but like I said, I haven't found one I'm like, oh, I really don't like that. They're all good. Some of them for butts and some of them for ribs, but Malcolm's got it down pat to how to do his stuff. But I'll do the edges. I got one hand, so I can't do it like with one hand, so I'm gonna do the edges and I'll get this wrapped up. Alright, it's wrapped, rubbed, wrapped, and it'll sit till tomorrow morning, about 24 hours. Let all that rub soak in, let the meat rest, and just soak up all that flavor. We'll get the grill going and get it on there tomorrow. Alright, so it is the next day. It's Saturday morning. We did a whole lot of running around kind of yesterday. I got a brush pile burnt, got some of the grass cut, and the wife got some weed eating done, getting prepared for Easter dinner tomorrow and all the family coming over. But here's the brisket 24 hours later, all rubbed, soaked in the refrigerator overnight. Got the big green egg on about 250, and then I got my Therma Pro sitting at 231. That's on the grill surface. This one's always a little bit hotter than the grill surface because of the heat, more heat rising, I guess. But then I got my other probe here. In about, I'd say 6-7 hours, I'll open it up and I'll stick it about midways of this brisket. I usually try to stick it about right here because this is the flat, and then here's the bigger part. But I'll stick it in right about here, get it about 190, and then I'll pull it off, wrap it, throw it in the grill for a couple hours and let it rest. And like I said with my rub yesterday, I watch a lot of Malcolm Reed stuff about how to barbecue right on YouTube. Most of what I know I learned from him or took after him. But I will put this brisket on the grill, on the smoker, fat side up. And I do that because I think the fat, as it melts and just it absorbs down into the meat, all those juices and stuff, and it's worked good for me ever since I've been doing this. And this is probably my 8th or 10th brisket in 2 years, or 3 years. Well, it's been longer than that. Probably about 5 years. So don't do them a whole lot. They're not cheap if you've ever smoked, but it's my favorite thing to do. I love it. They always come out good. My favorite thing to smoke. But I'm going to get this on the grill, and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, got the brisket on the grill. Got a water pan down there I use for, it catches a lot of the drippings, and it'll moisten the meat up a little bit more. Not that I've ever had any issues with having a dry brisket, but there it is on the grill. We're going to close it up. We'll check back in about 6 hours. Alright, got the brisket cooking. Got us a new round bale of hay yesterday. We brought it down. Got the animals eating. And our dilemma here is we don't have the barn up yet, so we can't feed them in the barn, just a little bit at a time. And the other dilemma is we have 3 goats, 3 donkeys, and a cow. Cows, donkeys, I know the cow can eat off the ground, it's not a big deal, but the goats, with their issue with getting worms and parasites and stuff, we don't want them eating off the ground. So what we do is, I got 4 pallets on the ground, stacked up 2 deep, and we just put a round bale on top of it. But then I also took these hog panels. It actually was a cattle panel, I believe, but we cut it down. And Well, the wife said they were hogs. So, but we cut it down so it keeps from having so much waste. And what we do is every couple days or so, depending on how much they eat, we come down and we tighten these ratchet straps up, which keeps it clamped on the round bale, and it keeps from getting waste. But the other issue is we have one, I guess you'd call her a real smart goat. She likes to get her head in between these squares. She's the only one that will stick her head in these squares and get her horn stuck, like goats do. So what I did is I took some electric fence wire and I put it at an angle. You can see right here, down through there, around the whole thing. So it still gives them enough. As you can see, the cow's not having an issue getting hay out. They can all get hay out and pull it out and everything, but keeps the goat from sticking her head in there. So this is our third bale that we've done this way, I believe. And it works. So, and like that was all the waste that was on the ground from the last bale. So you see it's pretty good. Just takes a little maintenance, so we've had to get used to it. It was actually 4 foot tall completely. So we actually cut it down to give the other animals, if they wanted to reach up toward the top there and get the hay off the top of it. But it could probably be cut down one more square, wouldn't hurt it. But for now, it's working like it is. All right, guys. It's getting pretty, and we're gonna go through the rest. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3 hives I haven't even been through this year. This one right here was a dead out I found yesterday. But the good thing is, the split that I did, this one right here was that tall one that I have. It had the double deeps on it, and then the super. I did a split and put it over there. The queen's in that one. I went in this one yesterday. There's plenty of bees in it. Also, there's a queen cell. So I'm hoping my first split is going to be successful. But I just went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hives. All of them, see, all of them's got 1 super, if not 2 on it, except the one I did the split in right there. They're filling them up. They're not full yet. No needing to add in supers today. With everything moving as quick as it is. Went to the preacher's yesterday. He's got one hive that's got 4 supers on it, and then he just added another one. So as quick as everything's filling up this year so far with the good weather we've had thus far, I'll check them again next weekend just to make sure, and hopefully be prepared with some of the stuff under there cleaned up so I can add supers. So this one I'm fixing to go through right here, and then this is the one I'm gonna, if it's as packed out as it looks like, then I'm gonna split it and put half of it in here and try to make another split this year, and then I should be good just adding supers the rest of the year. So we'll go through this one now, mark the queen. We hadn't been in there yet to mark her. Go through this one, do the split, find the queen, mark her, look at that one, mark the queen in that one, and then we should be good. And then I'll go through them about once a week now and make sure their supers are filling up, the queens are producing, populations are moving on. I won't feed anymore. I had sugar in this one, the paper towels on top of the frame right there with the dry sugar. Apparently it didn't work, but this is some of those that I did buy in the middle of winter and moved them in the middle of the winter. So the sugar that was on there I threw on the ground, but I didn't want to step on any bees that were right here, so I took all that sugar and I moved it and put it over there in front of my feeder. So I've got what sugar I got left right there. That feeder's empty, but then there's a pollen feeder right there in that hive body. So if I need that hive body, I'll take it. But for now, I've just got pollen in there if they need it. There's a little bit of sugar on top. And then the super that I took off of this one, everything was cleaned out. There's a little bit of bee bread and pollen and stuff in there, but other than that, there's nothing else in this box. So I'm figuring it was a dead out that they've cleaned out. Everybody's robbed out of, I'm guessing. Don't know, they could have swarmed. Haven't seen any swarms, so I don't know what happened. I'm just figuring it was a dead out. But the super that was on that one with the drawn out comb, they are empty. I've got it laying right there. I'm gonna let them rob it out. I don't know if that's against the rules here in Georgia, but I'm gonna do it. I like to let them clean all that comb out. We ain't gotta worry about the wax moss and stuff as much. So I'll touch back with y'all in a minute. All right, guys. We went through those 4 hives right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's a dead out, as I told y'all. The second one, we found the queen, marked her, put the queen excluder on. The last 2, that one and that one, we went through every box, did not find a queen. So I put the queen excluder on. There's brood everywhere though, cat brood. So I put the queen excluder on, and I'm gonna let it be for till next Saturday, which is a week from today, 7 days. And then I will go back in, and I shook the bees to the bottom brood box, so she should be in the bottom, but I'll go back in next Saturday and check, make sure there's no eggs up top in the supers. The supers look good. I'm just watching. But when we got done, while I had my bee suit on, I said, I'll go ahead and cut the grass around the beehives. Well, I got it almost all the way done, and I came through this hole right here, and my back tire caught that back 4x4. And I seen it, and I stopped. I said, I'll back out before I knock all these hives down. But as soon as I backed out, that back tire caught that 4x4, jerked it backwards off, and every one of them hives hit the ground. Frames everywhere, hives everywhere. So I did my best to get all the bees back in the right boxes and all the supers back on the right boxes, put everything back up. They were bearded all over the fronts of each one, I'm sure, after they just went through an earthquake. But I got them put back up, so hoping no queens got killed or hurt or anything. This one in this box right here, this queen, the one we did find, she didn't act too hot. We put her back in, and usually they dive back down in between the frames. She didn't. She stood on top. They cleaned her up a little bit because we did mark her and let it dry. So maybe that's why she was letting them clean her up or whatever. But that's probably, out of all the hives, even out of the splits, that's probably my weakest. So what I'm going to do is next Saturday, whichever hive I've got it's pretty strong with a good solid frame of cat brood, I'm going to take that and put in that hive to try to boost that population up, and then just see what happens there. And then I would like to split the one on the end down here next Saturday into that dead out. If I make it, I do. If I don't, I don't. I could just go get a queen here in the next, they're selling them now. I think Barnyard started selling theirs on the 1st or the 2nd yesterday. So I could go get one from them. Not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm trying to watch this other split and make sure those queens hatch out, go get mated and come back. This is my first year with this. Last year, all I did was get a box, that one right there actually, get 2 packages, put them in there, and they just grew all year. So this will be my first year actually extracting honey. This is my first time doing a split. So not a lot of first times going to be coming this year. I feel like we're in a good situation to at least get a little production out of everything. So we'll see how it goes. As you can hear the blower, the wife's up there blowing leaves. Get in the front yard. What little bit of leaves are up there, she's done cut the grass for me today while I was doing some burning. And that's our crabapple tree. It's blooming out. Everything's blooming, I think. Those blueberry bushes right there, I think from when we moved in last year in July till now, I think they've doubled in size. So I'm fixing to put some fence around them to keep the chickens and rabbits off of them. This whole field is covered in rabbits every night. The hogs are ready to be slaughtered as soon as the barn gets here. No more progress on the pad so far. I've got to get that one corner filled in probably next weekend. I know that I got to call Wednesday, see when exactly the barn's being brought. Scuppidine vines are blooming out. Or not blooming out, but leafing. So everything's coming to life. the bees are enjoying it. So, and I've got to check my swarm traps. I've got 3 swarm traps set out. I need to put the other 2 I have out. I just hadn't done that yet. So let's go over here and check the grill, see how the brisket's doing. It's been on for almost 6 hours. It is at 169, grill at 264. So we're headed out front to put the big tent together. And here's the plants that the wife has got planted. Everybody's saying we got one more cold snap, so we're gonna wait, I don't know, to put them in the ground. I don't know if we're gonna do it this week or wait one more week, but we gotta do something, because if it ain't for long, we'll be picking corn out of a tray. But everything's coming up good. We also got to get the garden plowed or tilled. We ain't even done that yet. But after Easter, we can get up there and do that.